For more than 150 years, Trinity University has celebrated human inquiry. Our innovative curriculum is rooted in a distinctive blend of the liberal arts and sciences. Students and faculty hone creative curiosity by answering questions and questioning answers. In a supportive, interdisciplinary environment, they seek ways to build bridges and make connections. And with intentional meaning and purpose, they are driven by a sense of duty to themselves and to the world. Add in opportunities for undergraduate research, experiential learning, and nationally recognized pre-professional programs in business, communication, healthcare, education, and entrepreneurship, you get the full Trinity experience. The liberal arts plus. And while this experience may end with a Trinity degree, it's just the beginning of a lifetime of inspired exploration and perpetual discovery.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Southern Peaks Athletic Conference and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives, including singling out anyone by name, number, or position, are grounds for removal from the site of competition and other disciplinary action. Public intoxication, as well as the consumption and possession of alcoholic beverages and or tobacco products is strictly prohibited. Persons throwing objects and participating in other acts in conflict with good sportsmanship and fair play are subject to rejection. Trinity also requires that you wear your mask indoors except while eating or drinking, and please do not use flash photography. Thank you for your cooperation in supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. And Trinity Basketball extends a very special welcome to the Piper High School Warriors. Welcome, Piper High School. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, we ask that you please rise for our national anthem. And now the starting lineup of the Centenary College Kings. Number 5, a senior guard, Kyle Mingo. Number 10, a junior guard, Jalen Baer. Number 13, a junior guard, Ralph Johnson. Number 20, a junior forward, Seth Thomas. The assistant coaches are Terrence Giles, Dominic Garcia, Oliver Eagle. Head coach of the Jets, Chris Dorsey. Centenary College Jets.
Well, we welcome you in here to CalGuard Gym for some more SCAC men's basketball action. Brian, it's been a couple of weeks, but Trinity have kept rolling on the road.
Yeah, Ryan, it's been a couple of weeks since we've seen these Tigers. They are quite on a roll, 5 wins in a row, and as you see their pregame intros, not only do they have a 5-game winning streak going, they've got a pretty strong weapon at their disposal today. It is Stashy Friday. Now, you might be wondering, it is Saturday today, but originally we were supposed to have a game last night, and in a tradition that dates back about 10 years for this Trinity program, on the last Friday of the regular season, last Friday home game, the guys shave their facial hair that they've been growing out for a whole month and leave just the mustache, and it's worked out really well for them. They have not lost on Stashy Friday in about 12 years, and this is a tradition that dates back about that long, so should be a good one. They've got some luck on their side today along with their hot play.
Trinity coming into this one 16-3, 8-2 in conference play. The Gents coming down from Louisiana 10-8, 5-5 in SCAC action. It's Wiggins, Mingo, Baer, Johnson, and Thomas for Coach Dorsey and Centenary College. It's Seiki, Jenkins, Brown, Clark, and Jordan Littman, who returns to the starting lineup after a couple years coming off of the bench. He was a lock starter before Coach Smith came in, and he's finally earned his way back in, replacing Ben Hanley, who's sitting today with an injury they're trying to manage ahead of postseason action. All set for the tip. Seiki and Wiggins to jump it up, and Trinity control it. It's with Caleb Jenkins now, out to Tanner Brown, who's coming off a buzzer beater, game winner, and one in Seguin. Trinity won in dramatic fashion for a second straight year against the Bulldogs on the road. Here's Clark now on the drive into the lane, takes the contact, and this game starts just how the last one finished, and one.
Yeah, there's something about the air in Seguin that just results in close games for the Tigers. Last year, buzzer beater for Abdullah Roberts as time expired, and this year, a few seconds left on the clock when Tanner Brown had that putback layup to win the game.
A.J. Clark now with a chance to add on to the 2 points and start this game on the right foot, and he does. And Trinity now into their full court pressure. And Get trapped right at the half-court line, and the pass is deflected. Jenkins just out-jumped, trying to reach it. And Centenary now get into their offense. Johnson to Bear, to Johnson. Into the corner, Lippman caught up in the air. Centenary continue to swing it around. The shot comes in and falls for Jalen Bear. Tie this game up at 3 apiece.
And that right there is a familiar sight for Trinity, as Bear scored 14 points and hit 4 of 5 threes back in December when these Gents defeated the Tigers in Shreveport. So a hot start for him early on already.
Centenary, a very difficult place to go and play, and Trinity found that out the hard way. As Clark again into the lane, soft touch, but it falls off the rim, and the putback's no good for Lippman. And a quick 3 as the Gents rein them in early. Kyle Mingo making just his 5th start of the season. Gives the Gents their first lead as Trinity turn it over. And another 3, this one finally off the mark for Jalen Bear. Now 1 of 2 to start the game. And as we're accustomed to seeing Trinity running in transition, Seki pulls it early in the clock for the 3-pointer. Both teams testing the waters from deep right now.
Yeah, it hasn't taken the Gents very long to show their prowess from 3. They are number 1 in the SCAC 3-point shooting, just under 35%.
This time, trying to get into the insides. Mingo will swing it back out now for Ralph Johnson. Johnson into the lane, jump stop, gets the shot up, and it comes off the front of the rim, and Jenkins comes down with the rebound. Now Clark dumps it off for Seki. Seki going to be called for a travel here as his pivot foot slid. Did well just to stay up there. He's asking maybe for a foul. It's another early turnover for the home team as the Gents have gone on a 6-0 run since the opening 3 points for A.J. Clark.
And Coach Smith mentioning that this Centenary team is a team that's really scary to face because they are not afraid to shoot, even when it's tough shots, but the way they are behind the arc, they just make a lot of those tough shots. So when they get going, as they have lately, scoring 85 points in 4 of their last 7, they can get on the board in a hurry. So the Tigers will have to keep them at a distance here early on before letting them get too hot from beyond the arc.
A.J. Clark with the hesitation, but got caught underneath the basket. Couldn't find Jenkins, and now Centenary run it. And the corner 3 is up for Mingo, and it comes off the rim, and Jenkins grabs the rebound. Immediately up the other end, Jenkins through the contact that time, able to get it up and good. As Johnson provided resistance. Johnson now trapped by Brown and Jenkins. He's able to get out of it. And the jumper from the elbow is good for Joseph Wiggins, making a good impression in just his 2nd start. Jenkins again getting to the cup, an athletic move. A protest for a foul, then and 1. Not granted by the referee. 2 straight trips down the floor, resulting in points for Jenkins.
And great to see him attacking the basket. We really saw him be himself against St. Thomas a couple of weeks ago here in San Antonio. Finally got that edge back that he's been missing ever since winning the SCAC Player of the Year a year ago today. So good to see him early on, not settling for jump shots and attacking the basket.
3 contested by Lippman, no good for Jalen Bear. And thumbs pointed up for the official. The jump ball and timeout on the floor. Centenary just edging it here in the early action. They lead 8-7 in what has been an energetic start here at Calgard Gym. basket that Trinity will now be defending, getting a quick inspection there over the break. Anyone who watched the Mavs versus 76ers game last night used to seeing that, as they had to replace an entire basket. Don't think we have the resources or ability to do that here, but the referee is satisfied with whatever the issue was, and we're back underway. Trinity with some strong defense on the baseline. Centenary able to escape, swinging around. Pump fake, and the dish off into the lane, where Wiggins got his shot up, but he was fouled on the way. Seth Thomas is into the game for the first time for Centenary College. Oh, sorry, no, that's just not correct. Started the game. First free throw is good. Centenary leading 9-7. Shooting 3 of 8, 2 of 6 from 3. Trinity starting 3 of 6 from the floor. Missed their only attempt from behind the arc.
And Wiggins here, who tries to convert his second free throw, no good. Rebound to Clark. Hasn't started a bunch of games this year for Centenary, but did start yesterday and led with 12 points against Schreiner in the Gents' loss up in Kerrville. So clearly someone that Centenary is giving a little bit more time here. We'll see if he takes advantage of it in a tough matchup against the Tigers.
Trinity, in fact, making 2 substitutions in the timeout, as Nickel is into the game for the first time alongside Jacob Harvey. Nickel provides the interior resistance there as the short jumper falls off the front of the rim. Seiki with a big skip pass over to Jenkins, now Clark. And here's Jacob Harvey. Work the high post with Nickel, lays it off here for Jenkins, over to Harvey for 3, no good. Second miss from the outside for Trinity. That would have given them the lead. They trail by 2 here as Jenkins takes the charge. Jalen Bear called for being a little bit out of control there. And the Gents now make some changes.
So a real nice start now for Jenkins, not only with a couple of buckets on the offensive side, but giving his body up defensively and taking the charge.
Jarrell Taylor and A.J. Hall in for the Gents as you get a look at that charge drawn by Caleb Jenkins, who has it now at the other end for the Tigers. Marquez into the game for the home team. This one over to Jenkins for 3. Strong offensive rebound for Seiki, but he's called for a travel as he tried to release it on his way down. Tough call that time. It's Trinity's leading scorer this season, Enzo Seiki.
And a tough break because it's something we talked to Coach Smith about this week. Offensive rebounding, a really big emphasis. It's probably the weakest link on this Tigers team. They're last in the conference in offensive rebounds, just 9 a game. And so we saw right there good effort, and we saw 3 guys go towards the ball like Coach Smith wants, but just a travel immediately after it that kept the possession with Centenary.
And another charge, this time drawn by Marquez. There's going to be conversation here with the officials about whether he was in the restricted area or not. One official indicating block, the other one, I think, charge. Let's see what they come up with out of this huddle.
And I've got to say, as the ref comes to look at the monitor or explain what's going on,
It's going to be Marquez called for a block.
yeah, as the situation is figured out, I love that we can hear people in the stands yelling their opinions. We haven't had a ton of people in the stands, but students are officially back on campus. I know we're so excited to have it back. And so we have a bunch of referees now in the stands.
Certainly some movement from the left foot of Marquez. That would indicate maybe he wasn't set in time, but they'll eventually come out of that discussion saying Trinity ball. An offensive foul going against Ralph Johnson. Maybe those fans making a little bit of an impact.
Absolutely. It's hard to believe that this men's team has only played 1 game with students on campus and in session. The women's team hasn't played a game yet with students back, so really excited for this doubleheader as Seiki gets underneath the basket there. Excited for this doubleheader and at large this big stretch of home games over the next week and a half where both the men's and women's teams are here for good.
Seiki with a really strong finish there to bust a scoring drought and get on the board for the first time. That ties it up at 9 apiece. Johnson swings it over for Hall. Baseline jumper comes up short, and Clark with a really strong rebound. Trinity run it. Harvey calling for it on the far side, but it's dropped off for Seiki, who drops in the 3. 5 straight points for Enzo Seiki, and Trinity have the lead back. Timeout on the floor.
30-second timeout. Centenary. Be sure to visit the Trinity Dining Services concession stand.
Quick timeout taken there by Coach Dorsey, just to try and stem the momentum that was building. 5 straight points for Seiki, and the crowd starting to get behind the Tigers. 13:05 to play in the first half. Trinity back in front, 12-9. Gents able to break the press. Marquez caught up in the air, but the help defense comes from Jenkins, who gets the block and gets the steal as well. Trinity push it in transition. Harvey on the right wing, back to Clark. And here's Caleb Jenkins, goes right to the heart of the defense, throws it up and in. Sometimes Jenkins can be guilty of forcing it, but when it's falling, keep going, keep pounding the rock.
What a sequence there for Jenkins, not only providing that help defense that you mentioned, coming up with the steal and then the acrobatic shot on the other end. Just a phenomenal start for number 5.
7-0 run for Trinity. Centenary looking to end that, but the jumper goes up short. And the momentum continues to build. Here's A.J. Clark, spots nobody home at the basket, gets there fouled by A.J. Hall. Second trip to the line here in the first half for Clark. Comes into today's game, 3rd in the conference in assists. He's been able to get to the basket a couple of times now.
And Ryan, I just love how the Tigers are really going at the basket early on. This is a team that when they're at their best, they can put up points with anybody, not only first in the conference, but 22 in Division III with 85 points a game. And we haven't seen that prolific offense in conference play. They've averaged just 78 in conference play, but they scored over 100 points a couple of times in non-conference games, and they did it by going quickly and getting to the basket. So I love that we're seeing that early on here from Trinity.
Clark out of the game now, as Roberts also replaces Seiki. It's a chance for senior Jack Williams, who gets some minutes here in the first half. An alley-oop layup is up and good for Seth Thomas, and that stops an 11-1 run. 9-0 over the past minute and a half.
And I definitely don't think it was an alley-oop intentionally.
Jenkins fouled as he took the 3. And we'll head to the media timeout with Trinity making their last 3 shots and taking a 16-11 lead, led by Caleb Jenkins in all categories: 6 points, 2 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. We welcome you back here. 11:46 to go in the half. You see a huge disparity in terms of field goal percentage in the early action between these two teams. Trinity, though, with a couple extra turnovers. That means the lead is only 5. It's been a really good shooting start, 55% from the floor. And straight out of the timeout, it's down to Roberts in the post. He pivots and gets a good look there on the right hand. He's called for a foul, crashing the offensive glass.
That was a nicely drawn play out of the timeout for Roberts. You could tell they were going right to him from the break. Interesting to see if he's a feature today. He was scoreless against TLU and scored just 2 points against Centenary in December. But getting some good playing time and some attention early on.
Big skip pass. He's corralled by Bear. And now he's being harassed by Williams and Jenkins. Able to escape the double team. Now 11 to shoot. It's in the arms of Ralph Johnson. Pass fake, and the 3 is up and clings off the iron for Mingo. Centenary ball. Shot clock reset to 20. Bear gets it in now with Johnson. Return to Bear, the inbounder. He gets to his left hand, and a really nice finish for Jalen Bear. Good for around 8 a game.
Yeah, Bear doing a nice job using the screen. Looked like the screen may have moved a little bit, but just subtle enough to not draw the call.
Really good find there for Jenkins, who continues a terrific first half by finding Mink Marquez for 2 points. Push it back out to 5. Trinity settling into their zone defense. Centenary looking to pick their spots here offensively. They'll take the early 3 for Taylor, and that one rattles home. No surprise, he's the best shooter from the outside in the SCAC this season. Harvey looking to answer with a 3 of his own, and he does. Had a lot of time to think about that one, and he answers with a big shot, as he so often does, Brian.
Yeah, he is such a good three-point shooter, and he has come up big in his first year here at Trinity. And I think on the possession before that from Taylor, it was a very far out 3. There wasn't much going on in the offense, and that's the type of shot I think Coach Smith was talking about, where they just kind of take it, and they're so good at him, and they make them, but that's really kind of the shot you want to force them into.
Roberts trying to force a whistle from the referee. And Trinity able to force a shot clock violation, as that one didn't draw iron. And Seiki returns alongside Ashton Owens. Under 10 to go in the half. Jenkins heads to the bench, and he was excellent in his first 10 minutes this afternoon. 6 points, 2 boards, 2 assists.
But it was a pretty fitting sequence between Harvey and Taylor as the Tigers turn it over their offensive foul called on the screen. But it just so happens that Taylor and Harvey are 1 and 2 respectively in the conference in three-point shooting. Taylor at over 42%, the first year Harvey at 41. And Enzo Seiki right behind Harvey, something he's worked on a lot. He's 3rd in the conference at 39%, so we're going to see a lot of three-point shots from these two teams, that's for sure.
Here's Harvey. After the Gents turned it over, Owens, let's rip from 3. That one no good. Missed just moments ago on the one waved away by the offensive foul as well. And getting to the elbow was Jalen Bear. He missed the shot and the follow-up. Last touch off the Gents. You see Jack Williams really fired up about what's going on the defensive end right now for the Tigers. Unfortunately, Enzo Seiki is back to the bench now, trying to avoid some foul trouble. He's picked up his 2nd. Might be his briefest stint on the court this season. Nickel in to replace him. Nickel with the handoff to Owens, able to corral it. Williams wants it straight away. 6 to shoot now for Trinity, and it's a really good combination from Nickel Williams, who has it, and the foul. Late in the shot clock, two of the most experienced Tigers on the roster knew exactly what to do, Brian.
What a find from Nickel there. It looked like he was going to get it out to Harvey, but instead he found a cutting Williams, and you said it perfectly, the senior connection, two of the guys who have been here the longest, and finally getting a nice taste of success with the Tigers in first of the conference.
And Williams able to complete the three-point play. Now up to an 8-point lead for the Tigers. 3 3-point plays here in the first half. The contact has not phased Coach Smith's team. As we've got a 10-second violation, and the energy continues to build. This lineup really getting it done defensively, and it's not really a lineup you'd expect to be playing this well on that end of the floor.
But that's exactly what we've seen from Trinity this year. Coach Smith using all sorts of lineups, and it results in moments like this where they're ready. They've played, they've gotten their minutes in, and so when it comes to the big time, they're not afraid of the moment.
Offense stifled a little bit here early in the clock as Nickel catches it in the paint and barrels into a well-positioned Kyle Mingo. Commits the charge, and we'll head the other way, Centenary ball.
Yeah, tough one there. Nickel really had no other place to go. That's just where he happened to get the ball, and like you said, perfect positioning from the defender. But as you see, just no second to breathe. Even after a turnover, you see how quickly Trinity gets into their press, almost a walk there. Happens to find an open man there. Bear getting open, but Trinity not letting up many easy baskets. Centenary having to work hard for everything.
Yeah, great find. That time resulting in points number 6 and 7 for Jalen Bear, who's himself had a pretty good start to this game. Timeout on the floor. Trinity getting it done right now. 6 of their last 8 from the floor, and they are in front by 6, 24-18.
All right, here we go.
Tanner Brown back into the game for Trinity. Great weapon to bring into a game where you're already in the lead, already with momentum. Clark back out on the floor as well. Tanner Brown going 2 of 5 in both of the last 2 games from 3 as he's rediscovered his shot from the outside. Here's Williams from the baseline. Rediscovering that feeling of being out on the court in front of the fans. You can tell he's really vibing off the energy. And he's putting up numbers like we haven't seen so far this season.
Definitely, and some of those numbers include the fact that he's already at 5 points today. He had 5 points in his last 7 games combined. So really a strong start from Williams off the bench and providing lots of energy for Trinity.
That time, Owens is called for a foul as Jalen Bear took the 3-pointer. Bear got Owens up in the air with the pump fakes in the sidestep. Didn't see a ton of contact, but could prove pretty consequential here as Bear has 3 looks from the free throw line, 63% on the year. And the first one falls. Second one is good as well. Galen Barrett, 6'4" junior, hails from Athens, Georgia. Centenary adding a couple of experienced players to their roster this year with Jarrell Taylor and Tevin Baker, both coming from ETBU. As the Gents have a chance at a big possession here, and they get it as Mingo drops in the corner three. That ends up being a 5-point trip down the floor, and it cuts this back to just a 3-point lead for Trinity as Brown up the other end, darts into the lane. Williams up to grab the offensive board. Trinity crashing the glass here. But the second chance look won't go, and the Gents come away with it. That one comes off the foot of Seth Thomas. It'll be Trinity ball for the kick. Jordan Littman, who started this afternoon, set to come back in for Williams, who made his mark, we already mentioned. For those that have been watching this Trinity program for the last 4 years, it's good to see some of these seniors getting their moment in the sun, getting their chance to show what they can do under Coach Smith. Never easy to go through that coaching transition. You're recruited by one coach. Maybe you don't fit exactly into the new system as the deep three goes for Ralph Johnson, and we are all tied just like that. Owens looking to respond, a wide open three from the right wing, and he puts Trinity back in front. These two teams going blow for blow here. 6 minutes to go in the first half.
This definitely feels like a game Trinity should be up more in, but once again, it's the three-point shooting for Centenary, keeping them in the ball game. They're 5 for 10, 50% from beyond the arc, and an offensive foul called there before Owens could get his three off. Trinity shooting 55% from the floor to Centenary's 39%, so you would think that results in a wider margin for the Tigers, but it's that three-point shooting that has Centenary right there with just over 5 minutes left in this half.
And Jenkins, who had a great 10 minutes to start today's game, is back in now. As with the exception of Enzo Seiki, who's sitting in foul trouble, Coach Smith turns back to his starters. Try and build the lead back out. Currently only in front by 3 after the Owens 3 moments ago. Here's Bear off the left foot. Fade away three-pointer, no good. Put a lot of shots up here in the first half, Jalen Bear. Now 3 of 8. As Jenkins takes the bump, he's fouled. And Seth Thomas with an inquisitive look over to the referee. Neither team completely happy with how the game's being called right now. I think it's safe to say. So 1-1 for Caleb Jenkins as Trinity are into the bonus. 65% on the season for Jenkins, native of New Orleans, Louisiana. Up against the school from his home state. Can't make the first of the 1-1. And Nickel called for the foul, diving to the floor. And we'll head to the other end with the Gents also in the bonus. And a lot of these fouls, Brian, have been offensive fouls. There's been a lot of whistles at the other end for Trinity. They've been pretty clean defensively, even though the Gents now find themselves in the bonus with over 5 to go in the half.
Yeah, and I think it really goes to show these teams putting it all out there. That first free throw, no good in the 1-1. But Trinity in first place, but feeling lots of pressure, tied with St. Thomas, right ahead of Schreiner. And for Centenary, they're currently in 4th place, but they're in a 3-way tie in the conference with Southwestern and TLU. 6 teams make the SCAC tournament, and so they're right at that cutoff. Every game as it comes down to this final stretch in February means a whole lot. And it doesn't surprise me to see both of these teams putting their bodies on the line, diving for loose balls, and taking these offensive fouls because they need every win.
Seiki now back into the game, right at the 5-minute mark. And he's looking to make it count up against Taylor. And the no-look find for Clark to Brown, who finishes through the contact. Tanner and one Brown right now, as Trinity have a chance at three the old-fashioned way for the fourth time in this first half.
And I love that nickname, Ryan, Tanner and one Brown, because I think it also highlights what a good job Tanner has done this year. Hasn't shot as well as he would like from three-point range. He led the conference last year, didn't make one for a month, but with that performance in TLU, you see that shot right there. It just reveals that he can do so much more than shoot from beyond the arc. He can get rebounds, share the ball with his teammates, and clean up the offensive glass. So great job by the local sophomore, hometown San Antonio native, doing a great job picking up for the Tigers when needed most.
And Clark looking for the skip pass over to Lippman. It was intercepted on its way. Taylor picks up his dribble, dishes it to the corner for Baker. Bear, again, sidestep, thought about another three-pointer. 13 to shoot for the Gents. Bear with a hand in his face, way too strong. And Trinity comes down with it on a 6-0 run over the last 2 minutes. Lippman back to Clark. Seiki hasn't really got his momentum going. Just had some quick 5-point swing early in the game. Disrupted by foul trouble. Here's Brown looking for the three-pointer. That one from way downtown. Comes up just short. Bear up against Lippman. Brown comes across to help, and the Gents swing it around. Taylor, a long three. He made it earlier in the game, but Trinity will give him that shot all night. Jenkins pulls up quickly in transition. Lippman rising high to try and clean the offensive glass. Almost levitated there for a moment, but the bounce off the iron just too strong. Three-pointer at the other end for Centenary, no good. And Jenkins has run ahead of the play here. It's opened up for Tanner Brown, and one once again, no.
I think they're going to say Seiki tipped that one in, so they're going to call the foul, but the basket no good.
Have a look at the replay as Brown got it up with the left hand. So it'll be 2 shots when we return. 3:12 to play here in the first half. Trinity in front, 32-26 on the Tiger Network.
Tanner Brown for 2 shots.
Tanner Brown at the line, looking to continue the 6-0 run over the last 3 minutes for the Tigers. Couple Tigers in the game for their first action this afternoon as Millhouse enters alongside Griffin Levine. First free throw good for Tanner Brown.
Levine and Millhouse, a couple of names Coach Smith said might take some additional minutes now that Ben Hanley is out with that ankle injury. And Levine, excited to see this Centenary team. He got his season high 11 points against them in Shreveport. So we'll see what he can make happen as he enters the game for the first time.
And that three falls for a wide open Jarrell Taylor, 5th-year senior, transferring from East Texas Baptist. Found his shooting stroke just a couple hours away in Shreveport. There's Seiki backing down Taylor. Out for Levine, who returns it to Seiki, trying to repost here. The fadeaway jumper from the baseline, just not a good look that time for Enzo. Had to get it up late in the shot clock. This one's poked away, and Centenary going to be called for a travel here. It's Tevin Baker, the other transfer from ETBU, tried to corral the ball on the court. .220 to play here in the first half. Clark pumps it off for Brown on the baseline. Out for Levine, gets his defender to blow by him, and the three-pointer comes up short on the open look. Into the lane at the other end. It's Kyle Mingo. He couldn't get it to fall, and he jumps into the passing lane, steals that one ahead of Jacob Millhouse. Couldn't keep it in play, though, as he's helped to his feet by Coach Dorsey. Just a couple of years ago, a SCAC champion. 2019, these gents took home the trophy. Coach Dorsey coaching in his 5th season for Centenary. Very respectable 64-46 overall record. His team's, of course, historically a lot better at home. It's a pretty tough road trip for everybody in the SCAC to get up to Louisiana. As Seiki is up and through the contact and one. The Gents just wondering, well, we can't even stop them with a foul right now. They're going through the contact every time.
Yeah, and ahead of that shot from Seiki, both teams had really slowed down a little bit. Trinity hadn't scored a field goal in over 3 minutes, and Centenary just won for their last 8. So after a red-hot start, the defense is adjusting a little bit. Seiki trying to convert this three-point play, and he does. Ryan, you were talking about Coach Dorsey leading this Centenary team to their first ever NCAA tournament when they won the SCAC, and just a team that always gives Trinity a lot of trouble. They've split their last 8 meetings. Centenary hasn't won here in San Antonio since 2018. It is that home court advantage in Shreveport that really helps them a lot, but a team that always battles with the Tigers, regardless of who's coaching, who's on the court. Always a good game.
Centenary need to respond here before the half, as Trinity have built it out to an 8-point lead. The three-pointer splashes down for Kyle Mingo, and they do just that, cutting it back to 5. Now a minute to go. Levine on the hesitation gets into the lane. Wide open 10-footer is good for Griffin Levine, his first points of the game.
Every time you think Trinity is going to expand their lead, Centenary hits a big 3. We'll see what these last 50 seconds bring. The Tigers try to close the half out strong.
Whistle goes against Trinity. Maybe 2 shots for Mingo. Clark called for the contact. Mingo making 2/3 of his free throws this year, and he'll come out for 2 attempts.
Timeout, Trinity, 30 seconds.
And I think you can see, even though there's just 44 seconds left, how big this just little stretch is. Trinity trailed by 1 in that loss at halftime against Centenary, so just trying to close out strong and leave off on a good mark. So Trinity up by 7 right now, but both teams wanting to talk it over and discuss how they want to go about these final few seconds.
Still a big disparity in terms of field goal percentage. Trinity shooting 52% on 14 of 27 from the floor. Centenary shooting just 35%, but they've made 7 out of 17 three-pointers to stick around here in this first half. Currently trailed by 7. They can cut that to as little as 5. With 2 free throw offerings here for Kyle Mingo. Enzo Seiki quietly, I think, with 8 points. He sat for a lot of the first half, but he's made his impact. A.J. Clark's grabbed 5 rebounds for Trinity, as Mingo, who's at the line now, has led the Gents. Had a chance to get into double figures there. He's at 9 currently. First one comes off the front of the iron, no good. Mick Marquez out there to finish the half for Trinity, as Coach Smith not wanting to risk Enzo Seiki picking up another foul. Clark finds Levine, the long two. It is no good, but Clark finds another rebound, and he'll pull this one out.
So you could see off of that timeout, Jimmy Smith wanted to go 2 for 1, trying to get 2 possessions before the half. Got the offensive rebound, and then Clark saying, okay, let's slow it down, take one final shot, and it'll be a good one.
And it'll be an and one. A.J. Clark gets 3 points and a trip to the line to go with it. This has been a ridiculous display for Trinity, finishing despite the contact in this first half. By my count, I think that's the 6th and one.
But none quite like that one. Wow.
Just the 4th make for Trinity from 3-point range. And they once again grab the offensive rebound. Talked about the importance of this stretch to finish the half. Trinity doing just that as Millhouse puts up the 3. Trinity up to 45 with this late surge. 6 points in just 8 seconds. And the Gents respond with a floater from Baker. The damage is done. It will be a double-digit advantage at the break as Levine throws that one up towards the basket. Thought, why not? Some of the stuff that's falling here in the first half. That was an exciting half of SCAC basketball, Brian.
And I don't think he quite drew it up like that in his timeout, but whatever Coach Smith said certainly ended up working. I don't think he could have drawn it up any better those final 44 seconds. What momentum to go into the locker room. Felt a little bit slow at the start, but the Tigers really gaining a footing and going into the half with a 10-point lead in a game that's felt pretty close most of the way.
Trinity with 11 different scorers in the first half. Seiki leads with 8 points alongside A.J. Clark, who has 8 as well. Jenkins with a strong start to this game, 6 points, 2 boards, 2 assists. And for Centenary, Mingo leads the way with 10 on 3 of 7 shooting. Bear has 7 with 4 rebounds to go with it. And a couple of big threes for Taylor, has him at 6 points. But it's a 10-point Trinity advantage in a game that has had a little bit of everything. We'll be back in just over 14 minutes. You're watching Trinity Men's Basketball on the Tiger Network.
For more than 150 years, Trinity University has celebrated human inquiry. Our innovative curriculum is rooted in a distinctive blend of the liberal arts and sciences, students and faculty hone creative curiosity by answering questions and questioning answers. In a supportive, interdisciplinary environment, they seek ways to build bridges and make connections. And with intentional meaning and purpose, they are driven by a sense of duty to themselves and to the world. Add in opportunities for undergraduate research, experiential learning, and nationally recognized pre-professional programs in business, communication, healthcare, education, and entrepreneurship, you get the full Trinity experience. The liberal arts plus. And while this experience may end with a Trinity degree, it's just the beginning of a lifetime of inspired exploration and perpetual discovery.
Starting in the second half for Centenary, number 4, Joseph Williams, foul, final over the Kevin Taylor there. 13, Ralph Johnson, 20, St. Thomas. For Trinity, number 2, Enzo Saki, 5, Caleb Jenkins, 11, Tanner Brown, 22, A.J. Clark, 35 for Clifton. Centenary's ball, second half.
$20 minutes down, 20 minutes to go here in Calgard Gym. Trinity in front 45-35 after the opening half of action here in SCAC regular season play. Trinity fighting to stay in first place in the conference. Centenary looking to separate themselves from the middle of the pack and solidify their place in the tournament positions. The three-pointer hoisted up too high and short by Seth Thomas to start the half. And Jenkins throws it away, trying to find Lippman in transition. Trinity now with 11 turnovers. Definitely something to improve on as this game goes on. And I think Coach Smith really highlighted that to us as a reason that Centenary beat this Trinity team earlier in the year.
100%. Trinity had 25 turnovers in Shreveport, the second most they've had all year. Only time they had more, not coincidentally, in a loss to St. Thomas. So when they turn the ball over 20 times, it's not looking real good for Trinity. So they really have to keep it as low as possible as they start with 11 here in the second half.
Thomas whistled for the foul, going for the rebound. Tough start to the half for him after the air ball three. It'll be Trinity ball. Same starting five out there for both coaches.
And it might seem simple to say don't turn the ball over, but not only does it give the other team a chance, as Seki nearly turns it over, Clark somehow saves it, really scrambling there. Littman puts it up and in. But the turnovers lead to easy opportunities on the other end, but they also are just shots that you're not getting up. And with a team like Trinity that makes their shots at such a high percentage leading the conference, you want to put as many up there. So the turnovers just hurt in so many different ways. We'll see if they can limit it here. And so far, good start off of that scramble on the last possession.
Jenkins misses the first layup. Brown comes through to finish the second chance opportunity. Trinity pushing their 10-point advantage at the half out to 14, and in response, Coach Dorsey takes the timeout for the Gents, who are looking to avoid a three-game losing streak as they lost a home and away matchup against Schreiner yesterday, playing against the Mountaineers and losing 71-57. They've been hot offensively. They scored 90 plus in 4 of their last 7 games, but that 57 yesterday definitely hurt. On pace for around 70 today. Trinity ramped it up to start the second half, to continue their surge that finished the first.
Yeah, this is a very streaky Gents team, and so far we've seen the opposite of what happened in Shreveport. The Gents took a 1-point lead at the half, and then they immediately expanded it to 10. So far here, Trinity starting with a 10-point advantage and quickly getting it out to 14. So you see Coach Dorsey trying to stop that in its tracks, call a quick timeout, because he can't let this get away from him. We talked about how important these games are. Centenary in a 3-way tie for 4th place, and 6 teams make the tournament, running out of games here at the end of the year. So these are some big 18.5 minutes for Centenary.
See Coach Smith working with the whiteboard there in the timeout. No changes in personnel for either team. We'll see now what Coach Dorsey was able to draw up. 1.5 minutes into the second half, and the lead's only grown for the Tigers. Now up by 14. Johnson to Bear, top of the arc. Down into the post for Wiggins. Forced to kick it back out. And the double team nearly opened up for Wiggins. Instead, it's a really accomplished finish for Kyle Mingo. Jump stop and put it in off the glass. That ends the quick Trinity run to start the half. Skip pass over to Littman. He jump stops into the lane, has his shot blocked. Seiki grabs the loose ball, and he's fouled going up as he was tangled with Wiggins. That's 6'6", the tallest player on the floor for the Gents, and he's been tasked with dealing with Enzo Seiki. 6'6" as well. And he's 215 pounds of pure energy all the time, and he's headed to the line now.
And that last foul going against Wiggins, there was a little bit of question, and the Gents are in some foul trouble. Johnson and Mingo both with 3 personal fouls. And looking at the box score yesterday against Schreiner, only 7 Centenary players scored, so they really rely on their few starters and a couple guys off the bench. So if they have to go deep into it, it'll be even tougher to come back against this Tiger squad.
Seiki's the first Tiger into double figures. He's at 10 now on 3 of 5 shooting. Perfect 3 of 3 from the free throw line. Corner 3, no good. Mingo can't get to his own rebound. He gets up from his tumble to the court to get back and make a steal. He gets it now from Johnson. Here's Ralph Johnson. Thought about the 3 instead. Take the contested 2-pointer. Good defense that time for Jenkins. And Clark into the lane at the other end and hangs in the air for an easy 2 points. Clark, he's picking his moments, isn't he? He's up to 10 points now on a very efficient 3 of 4. A couple of and ones for the senior guard.
Clark just does so much. Already in double digits, 4 points, but also 7 rebounds. He's coming off a career high 15 rebounds, the most any Tiger has had since Danny Rivera in 2018. So he's just everywhere on the court, contributing all over the box score as a 3 right there for Mingo. Mingo, really the one go-to for Centenary. Was going to say that it just doesn't feel like they have someone they can count on to just get a bucket when they need it. Against Schreiner, 4 of 5 starters were in double digits, but they were all in those low double digits as Seiki gets one and looking for a foul. But Centenary really going to need someone to pick it up and just hit some key shots, and so far it's been Mingo with 15, but let's see if anybody else steps up to help him.
Mingo now from way out, and he knocks that one down. Now 5 of 9 from behind the arc. Maybe they don't need anybody else to get hot if he's going to continue shooting like this. There's Trinity's number 5, Caleb Jenkins at the other end. That one tipped away as the Tigers are trying to post up Seiki. And we'll take the media timeout. With Trinity in front by 12, 55-43. Mingo offering up 18 points in resistance so far. With a couple of quick 3-pointers, Centenary look to build their way back into this game when we return. Amongst the players on the bench for Trinity, of which there are quite a few, you saw number 44, senior Mason Roberts, who this week was named SCAC Character and Community Athlete of the Week for his volunteer work with the Kerrville Triathlon, the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Tournament, and plenty more work off the court. Robert's a key piece in terms of the chemistry of this team. He's one of the seniors. And he's really leading off the court with some of his volunteer work, so shout out to him. As Littman's called for an offensive foul on the push-off.
And Ryan, you bringing up all the things that these Tigers do off the court. Coach Smith even talking to us about how it is an adjustment now that school is back in session, having to deal with the schedules, not all being able to practice necessarily at the same time, so having to work around that. And it is a challenge, but it just reiterates that these guys are student athletes, and the student comes first, and somehow able to do such a good job on the court with the athlete part.
Didn't catch the official's explanation, but either way, Centenary turn it over. Coach Dorsey not pleased, as you can imagine. Something to do with Mingo. The referees will meet now to discuss. Centenary players as well come into a huddle. Still looking for some clarity as to what this whole situation's about. We'll take an official timeout for a quick video review.
Tiger men and women return home tomorrow to take on Austin College.
Brian, you've got the game tomorrow as Trinity have another doubleheader, men's and women's, against Austin College. Part of this homestand. Almost wraps up the season. They'll finish at Dallas on the last day. So we'll get a look at maybe what the review was for. I believe it's something off your screen. Down towards the right. Don't think we had a great look at it. The officials stick with their decision. Trinity ball. Coach Dorsey getting an explanation. Unfortunately, we do not have the explanation. I don't think Trinity fans will mind. For the official ruling from down on the floor is that Mingo stepped out of bounds on his way to getting open. That turned it over to Trinity. Jenkins looking to make it count. Nearly got a kind bounce off the rim on the three-pointer. The Gents come down with the rebound. Taylor brings it into the front court. Seiki takes the charge as the rough start to the half continues for Seth Thomas.
Also number 20, Seth Thomas, that was his third. Team foul number 2.
Junior out of Kilgore, Texas. Heads back on defense now, as Jenkins will jog it up the court.
And Thomas at 6'5", takes a lot to knock down the 6'6", 215 Seiki.
That one tipped away, or maybe just lost by Clark. He was afraid to touch it again. He called for a double dribble. Trinity able to avoid such violation and get Tanner Brown open for three. And Seiki grabs the offensive rebound and frees himself up. Littman has the putback up and in. Littman wanted it that entire time. Eventually he got it off the miss from Seiki. Second basket of the game for Jordan Littman, who was in from the start today, replacing Ben Hanley. He's been a fixture in the lineup for really 4 seasons, but he's out right now with an injury. As another charge called, Seiki in the way once again.
And you can see a smile on Seiki's face. It's getting fun at this point. 2 consecutive offensive fouls. Meanwhile, Coach Dorsey on the Centenary sideline, beside himself on that last possession several times, thought that a couple of turnovers could be called against Trinity. But when we turn around, Trinity maintains that 14-point lead and clock ticking just below that 14-minute mark as well.
Yeah, and crucially, Mingo hasn't got another look after making 2 straight deep threes. Seiki up through the contact, and the way this game was going, I thought that might fall for him.
3 Centenary defenders around Seiki, and he still manages to put it up, draw the contact, and go to the line.
And it'll be foul trouble for Thomas. Now got 4 with still just under 14 minutes to go in the game. You have to imagine he's going to sit. He looks surprised to be coming out there as Braden Board took his place. Maybe didn't realize he was up to 4 in the game. To get a good look at the mustache on Enzo Seiki there. Stat sheet Friday / Saturday. Going well so far for Trinity. Maybe got a couple of bounces. Just the magic of the mustache that you don't usually get.
It's the only thing that can explain it, Ryan. It's magical. Maybe they're also a little bit good on the court as well.
They've shown that at times this year. Harvey here tries to reach around and block Ralph Johnson. And it was Nickel who was able to come up with the block, and now he's called for the blocking foul. It's a block party of all varieties down on this end.
Third foul on Nickel, but right here you see him in with Seiki. This is the big lineup that the Tigers have elected to go with as of late. Didn't see it a lot early in the season, as typically it would be Nickel coming in for Seiki, but when the Tigers need some size down low, they've gone with that big combination, and it certainly has been working so far today.
You see Nickel patrolling the paint, and he comes across to get the block. He's called for the contact. And unfortunately, Coach Smith going to have to make another lineup adjustment as Nickel picks up 2 quick fouls, now up to 4 in the game.
And it was nearly perfect timing, as you see Nickel going up there and Seiki right beside him, but just getting too much of the arm, so that'll be foul number 4.
No points in the game for Nickel, has 2 points and had that one flashy assist for Jack Williams in the first half. But of course, with his size, provides a different type of presence defensively.
But after that free throw, looks like he's staying out there, at least for now. No substitution planned.
Coach Smith sticking with him as Centenary bust their scoring drought of just around 3 minutes. Still haven't made a field goal in that time. They trail by 15 here. Seiki hands off for Jenkins. How about the long 3? We'll skip pass to Harvey in the opposite corner, and that one's up and good. Great find from Jenkins. And perfect timing with the 3-pointer for Jacob Harvey.
And we've just gotten to the point, Ryan, where every time Harvey shoots, we expect it to go in. It is such a smooth shot from beyond the arc, and it's beautiful to see.
2 Tiger defenders closing out that time. As the Gents get inside, Nickel has to be careful up against Taylor. It's called for a foul. We'll see if it's against .33 or 5. That's against Jenkins, so Nickel can stay out there, and he does, as he survives the substitutions with Jenkins and Clark going to the bench. Williams back in, Abdullah Roberts and Ashton Owens as well.
And this is a lineup that did well in the first half. Really got some momentum going for the Tigers just about the midway point of the first half. So we'll see what they can do as they look to build on this lead and put things away before another doubleheader tomorrow against Austin.
And a great find from Williams to Nickel. He returns the favor from the first half. First basket of the game for David Nickel. Williams just providing a real spark right now. Playing with a swagger. You wouldn't know he hasn't had a huge role this season with the way he's carrying himself on the court today. Harvey looking to go coast to coast and has it swatted at the rim. That's out of play. Trinity ball. Leading by 15 as we head into immediate timeout. Give you a quick rundown of the leaders for the Tigers. It's Enzo Seiki, 14 points, 4 of 6 from the floor, 5 of 5 from the charity stripe, with 4 rebounds to go with it in 20 minutes of action. Jenkins still at 6 points. He's up to 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Tanner Brown has 7, as well as 6 boards. A.J. Clark, 10 points, and he's on double-double watch. He's got 7 rebounds. The other starter, Littman, 4 points on 2 of 4 shooting. Off the bench, you got Harvey with 6 points on 2 3-pointers. And Jack Williams, he's got 5 points, 1 board, and 1 assist. For the Gents, it's been Mingo, 18 points on 6 of 11 shooting, 5 of 9 from beyond the arc. He's got 3 fouls to worry about. Seth Thomas has 4 fouls. He's just got 2 points in the game on 1 of 5 shooting. Taylor adding 11 off the bench on an efficient 4 of 6 mark, 2 of 3 from behind the arc, as we expect from the best shooter from the outside in the SCAC this season. Right now, it doesn't feel like there's any way back into this game for the Gents, Brian.
Yeah, and it's remarkable still how Trinity remains above the 50% mark from the floor, 54%, well above their average of 48. That's already #1 in the conference and in the top 40 in the nation. But one big difference from that game in Shreveport, among many, as the Gents cause a turnover there off the inbounds pass. Centenary with only 11 free throw attempts, and they had 34 back in December. That's the most they've had all year, as they get a nice putback layup there. But not getting to the line, not getting those easy points has been a big improvement for Trinity, along with the fact that they've nearly halved their turnovers at 14 compared to those 25.
Here's Owen stepping into a 3, too strong. And Jarrell Taylor comes down with the rebound. A.J. Hall passed up the open 3-pointer. Instead, it's a nice mid-range jumper to go. Of course, there's always a way back into the game for the Gents, especially with the way they can shoot the ball from the outside. But the strength and depth has been so evident for Trinity. Every lineup's been getting it done, and we've seen some unique ones, just like in every game this season. It's always just a little bit of a different mixture, as Roberts is off the mark with the 3. Coach Smith almost like a mad scientist, pouring different chemicals, just seeing what's working on the day, as some of the starters, 4 of the starters, come back into the game now.
Yeah, and what it does is, in a moment like this where Tigers sense that the Gents are on their tail a little bit, you can put the starters back in and they're fresh because they've been able to rely on the bench to provide good minutes. So now in these final 10, should be good to go from the people the Tigers want on the court most.
Centenary got it down for Wiggins, kicked it back out. It's now with Taylor on the block. And he'll go with the fadeaway jumper. That one too strong. Trinity nearly fumbled the rebound, but Clark throws it away. Active hands that time for Thomas. And he's able to spectacularly dive to the floor, keep that one in play. If the Gents score here, it'll be all because of the hard work from Seth Thomas. And he might as well go and do it himself. He'll get a chance to at the free throw line. It was a tough start to the half for the junior from Kilgore, but he really did it all on that possession.
Yeah, and ever since that under-12 media timeout, the Gents look like a completely different team, to be honest with you. 6-0 run over the past 2 minutes, but they are diving for these loose balls, as you saw that one saved out of bounds. And now going to the line, they've got to put all they have. They're going to come back from down double digits, but that 3-point shooting currently at 43% certainly provides an avenue for them. We'll see if Trinity can adjust and keep them at a distance.
Thomas with a big 0 for 2. Couldn't capitalize on all his hard work. And now Trinity will try and put an end to this 6-0 run. Seiki going up through the contact. Won't fall for him that time. And Thomas grabs the rebound. Here's A.J. Hall. Pull up for 3, and that one's on the mark, and it's back to just a single-digit game now. 8-point lead for Trinity, as it's a 9-0 run over the last 2.5 minutes. Seiki triple teamed at the top, and he throws it away. And I regret ever saying anything, as to your point, the Gents finding a new type of energy at the media timeout. Coach Dorsey firing up his players, and they're fighting their way back into this game. 64-56. Be right back in just a moment. Centenary definitely providing some resistance here, cutting into the Trinity lead with a 9-0 run over the last 2.5 minutes. And they're back with the ball after Seiki threw it away, and there's mid-range jumper on the money for A.J. Hall. And it's a 6-point game. Trinity led by as much as 17 as A.J. Clark gets to the hole. And that one drops in off the front of the rim, finally putting a stop to that 11-0 scoring run for the Gents. Clark coming across, harassing Baker, can't get the turnover. And it's a skip pass over to A.J. Hall in the corner. And he has got the hot hand here of late. 4 of 6 now in the game, up to 10 points. And it's a 5-point game.
And I believe all 10 of those points have come in the second half. It feels like in the last minute or two, he has just brought an incredible swagger off the bench. He averages over 11 points a game, but he had been quiet in the first half, completely kept out of the picture. But wow, he has really delivered here for Centenary. And just like that, a 5-point game here with just over 8 minutes to go.
You see Jenkins hit on the head going up for that layup, so he'll go to the line. No, they'll say it was in the act of passing it off to Tanner Brown. So no free throws for Trinity. No chance at points with the clock stopped, as they're called for an offensive foul. And Clark got 2 points a moment ago, but it's still a 14-2 run over almost 4 minutes.
When the Tigers were up by about 14, 16, it started to feel like everything was going their way, all the little calls, and now things are shifting. Little turnovers, little loose balls going the way of Centenary, and Hall trying to do it himself again. Tigers have to adjust to him.
Here's Taylor, who we thought might be playing the role that A.J. Hall is playing. Finally off the mark with a three-pointer, and Jenkins is running it up against 3 defenders. That's some strong defense there by Jarrell Taylor to make sure there's no free points in transition for Caleb Jenkins.
Yeah, but a real break on that one, because Hall was wide open in the corner again. So just missed on that one, but it would have cut it to 2. So really got to get their attention on Hall.
Under 8 to play. Trinity still in front by 5, but Centenary making a run. I think in that timeout, you got a good look at Coach Smith and his calm demeanor coaching this Trinity team, even through a little bit of a skid like this. Still remain calm, trying to use the whiteboard to explain what his team could be doing better, and drawing up a nice play out of the timeout to get Brown open underneath. But it's A.J. Hall who's able to contest the shot. He's almost single-handedly gotten the Gents back into the game here in the second half. Senior playing potentially for the last time here at CalGuard Gym as Taylor steps into a deep three, and it's just a 2-point game now. He's the one we expected to do the damage, and he came up with a big three there. Great screen off the ball to get Seiki wide open, and Clark able to find him as Mick Marquez, as he so often does, doing the dirty work to make Trinity's offense work. Hall switches to the opposite corner as Taylor now finds him. Here's A.J. Hall from the right wing. That one clings off the iron as he's finally cooled down. 2 straight misses for him. Brown hands off to Jenkins. Clark swings it across for Seiki. He's only attempted 1 3 in this game. Sorry, only made 1 3 out of 2 attempts. Jenkins has it stripped away that time by Taylor, and now Hall will run it in transition. Brown pokes it away, and A.J. Hall with an acrobatic play, throwing that one off Jenkins as both players were still in the air. So it'll be Centenary ball. 68-64 is the Trinity lead.
And Coach Smith getting up right away, asking for a review, saying Centenary caught it, threw it while he was out of bounds, but ball stays with the Gents.
Good pass over to Thomas. Mingo swings it around as Seiki tips that one out of play. And Jenkins is replaced by Harvey.
And so now what looked like a game that the Tigers might be able to run away with finds them right back where they're used to being, honestly. Several close games, not only that one we mentioned up at TLU, as Hall, once again, the go-to guy, mentioned didn't have a go-to guy until he came into the game. But the Tigers not only defeating TLU by just a couple of points, they had a really close game up in Colorado Springs that they won by 4. Had a couple of tough matchups with St. Thomas, one going their way, one going the way of the Celts. And so they're no stranger to these close games, and yet another one.
Long pause here for A.J. Hall. Gents struggling a bit at the free throw line here in the second half. They're just 6 of 13 in the game, now 6 of 14. And if they even shot closer to their season average of 70%, they might be tied or even ahead in this one. As Hall goes 1 for 2 that time. 1 possession game. Trinity lead by 3. Clark gets it back from Harvey. Quick ball movement opens up Jacob Harvey for 3. That one no good. Hits both sides of the rim. And the Gents grab the rebound and head the other way. Corner 3 now for Seth Thomas. And it hadn't been going well for Thomas, playing with 4 fouls. He made a huge shot there to tie this game back up.
A 21-4 run over these past 6 minutes. Just truly breathtaking what these Gents have been able to do. Everything was going Trinity's way. We'll see if they can recover, use this home crowd to lead them to victory. Seiki battling his way. He'll go to the line. But a lot of silence after a very energetic first half. This Trinity crowd was into it, but I think everybody is stunned at this comeback.
A 17-point lead completely evaporated. And we're all tied up with just under 5.5 to go. It's going to be a sprint to the finish. Trinity still trying to catch their breath as Seiki makes the first free throw. Tigers have been much better from the free throw line, 13 of 15. that's the first miss of the game for Seiki, 6 of 7. He's at 17 points to lead the way for the Tigers. Mingo, who we haven't seen put up a shot in a while, still leads the way for Centenary with 18. As they go down low this time for Taylor. And not enough resistance that time for Trinity defensively, and Taylor takes advantage. This one's going to be a blocking foul called against Baker. Harvey definitely had a head of steam, but I don't think Baker got there in time to draw the charge.
Yeah, we've already seen a lot of offensive fouls, so kind of expecting them at this point, but like you said, I think they got the call right there.
Centenary leading this game right now from down 17 here at the start of the second half.
And Centenary, is that free throw just rolls off the rim from Harvey. Centenary shot 37% from the field in the first half. And in the second half, they've improved that to 54%, including a blistering 60% from 3.
And the second one is good for Harvey to tie this game back up. Centenary, that I believe was their first lead since the early action. Game now tied, but they've got the ball back. Under 5 to play. Tevin Baker dumps it off for Mingo. Here's A.J. Hall. Everybody out there right now for Centenary's made a big shot at some point in this game on their way back to tying it up. That time Thomas with the hook shot in the lane, no good. Nichols back in the game for Trinity. He's playing with 4 fouls as A.J. Clark makes a huge three-pointer. He's up to 15 in the game on 5 of 6 shooting. When he's let it rip, it's been falling. Here's Taylor now into the lane, kicks it out for Hall. Nickel with a strong contest that time on the shot. Again, he's playing with 4. And here's Tanner Brown looking to follow it up with a 3 of his own. And the student section erupts as Trinity have answered back with 6 quick points to restore some order here in Calgard Gym.
Just what the doctor ordered here in San Antonio. You see the replay, Tanner Brown nailing the 3, students behind him going wild.
Brown now up to 10 points. That was his first make from behind the arc. 1 of 3 as Trinity themselves have shot 40% out of their 20 attempts from deep. Centenary have shot 13 of 27. On their way back to really making this a close game, but Trinity responds with 6 quick points. We'll be right back. Under 4 to play on the Tiger Network. This gym rocking over the timeout as the big 3 from Tanner Brown gave Trinity a 6-point lead after trailing momentarily. See if the Gents, as they have in the second half, can respond. Who might get the hot hand next for the visitors? As the Tigers press high up the court. The Gents move the ball well. Here's Taylor. He's got quite a bit of size in this matchup with Harvey. Steps back and fires a pass. A.J. Hall now in the corner. A.J. Hall into the lane. And the referee's gonna whistle for a foul against the Tigers. I thought maybe he walked there. It looked like an NBA move, and realistically, when you look at a lot of the NBA moves, they're usually actually travels that get called at this level.
Well, maybe that's because you're watching the Mavericks. I know our Centenary fans that are watching along on Tiger Network would agree that Pelicans basketball is where it's at. I think we can agree on that, even though they're facing Trinity. But no, I think Hall doing a great job getting to the basket right there among 3 defenders. Was going to say that Trinity had really done a nice job on the last couple of possessions adjusting to the red-hot Hall, but that time it was just him being better. Trinity paid full attention to him, didn't leave him open, but he was just able to create that space and then nail 1 of 2 free throws.
Yeah, good defense, better offense. Sometimes that's all there is to say. Tigers hold a 5-point lead here as Brown's caught in between 3 defenders. Now Clark on the drive, jump stop into the lane, and he's up for 2 points. A.J. Clark has led Trinity back out to a 7-point lead here. 17 in the game to go with 10 rebounds. He's got a double-double. Here's Taylor, really good defense that time from Nickel, who remembers playing with 4. And Trinity come down with the rebound. Seiki steps into the straightaway 3, and that's good. Centenary's hard work to get back into this game now just slipping away as the lead's back out to 10. The ball's slipping away from him there as Trinity grabbed the steal in the open court. Seiki fouled underneath. And you can hear the energy in the gym, the energy starting to fade away for Centenary, who remember played yesterday. They put their all into getting back into this game. They led for a moment. And Coach Dorsey's going to take a timeout to catch his breath. Trinity on a 12-1 run, back in front by 10. 2.5 to go. We'll be right back on the Tiger Network. Seiki can add to the 10-point Tiger lead and extend this 12-1 run over the last 2.5 minutes. Both teams with some really good shot making today, and it's been fun to watch. Centenary shooting a season high 48%. Trinity shooting 43% from beyond the arc. 22 threes made between the 2 teams. And Trinity still shooting 55% from the floor, as that second free throw won't go. They're now 15 of 20 from the line as well.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Ryan. Just really high quality basketball on both ends. Both teams really stepping up, and just in the last couple of minutes, it's been Trinity that's done it when it counts most, as they get another turnover, but then Centenary gets it right back. But just, it's been this type of energy that we've gotten so used to in this gym, and so happy to share it with everybody now that they're back in school.
Seiki whistled for a foul as he hit Thomas on the head, going for the loose ball. That was a big opportunity for Jarrell Taylor, the open 3 from the corner, to get one last go at another comeback. But the best 3-point shooter in the SCAC this season had his hands on top of his head there, knowing he missed a chance.
Officials timeout.
As the officials will take a quick look at this. On first look, it looked like Seiki pretty innocent and just trying to go for the ball. But of course, contact to the head area always going to be reviewed, especially in a game that's been played at such a frantic pace at times. Trinity approaching now their season average of 85 a game. You mentioned earlier that's almost top 20 in Division III. The Tigers receiving votes in the national poll right now, trying to break into that top 25 as a team.
Yeah, and this performance from the floor would definitely be up there with their highest field goal percentage. They've scored 100 a couple of times. They hadn't done that in quite some years, but they did it in back-to-back games, even one in a loss to Carleton. Carleton 103, Trinity 100. But this is the type of offense we've seen here at home, and I know we've talked about it so much, and we talked about it endlessly as we have these home games. We've had the great luck of getting to call these home games and bring them to you. But I think you see we haven't been lying when we say there is some great basketball awaiting you here at CalGuard Gym. So we highly encourage you to come out. The men's team has 4 games remaining here at home, and the women's team gets going right after this one, and they have 4 more after that as well. So these are the final home games of the regular season before the SCAC tournament in Sherman. So take advantage and come out to Trinity. Beautiful campus, beautiful basketball being played.
This one really feels almost like a tournament game already, where you get matched up with a team that's a little bit further down in the standings, but they give you their best game. They're going to make shots. They're going to play like their season is on the line. And the Gents certainly have today. They've got a few players out there that were SCAC champions in 2019. Trinity looking to go and grab that title this year after winning the regular season last year and losing in the title game. But just with the intricacies of St. Thomas's move into Division III, the regular season means a lot, because the first tiebreaker, if St. Thomas was to go on and win the SCAC tournament like they did last season, as to who would go to the NCAA tournament as the automatic qualifier, is the regular season standings. So every game means so much, even more so than in a normal year, if we ever get one of those again.
Yeah, and if you look at the SCAC standings, which we've shown a couple of times on your screen, looks like a 3-horse race, but really based off of what you said, a 2-horse race, because St. Thomas cannot qualify for the NCAA tournament, so their finishing position doesn't truly matter in the regular season. But Trinity and Schreiner right there neck and neck, and they will face each other right here in San Antonio on the 15th. But whoever finishes in the top spot behind St. Thomas has that edge going into the tournament. And like you also said, Centenary really just trying to get to that tournament, right there neck and neck with TLU Southwestern, Dallas right behind them.
Nickel heads to the bench, and he's greeted warmly by his teammates. He played a huge role in today's game, played with 4 fouls for over 5 minutes here in the second half, and still played excellent interior defense. It's great to see some of the seniors stepping up today. It was Jack Williams as well, Mick Marquez, who's come in. Jordan Littman got to start.
Yeah, you absolutely love to see it.
A flagrant foul, so there'll be 2 shots and the ball for Centenary. Seth Thomas missing the first, making the second.
Yeah, don't love seeing the flagrant foul, but what you were saying right before that, just love to see these seniors really living in this moment. This is a men's basketball program that hasn't won the SCAC since 2014, having gone to the NCAA tournament since that same year. And so this senior class, this is really the first time that they've tasted success with a full house behind them and everything looking up, and you can sense the energy that they feel as they pump up their family, their friends, and just been a remarkable year here at CalGuard Gym so far.
Thomas fouls out of the game. That was his 5th as he tried to rip it away from Marquez. And leaves with 6 points, 6 boards, and 3 assists. Made some big plays on the Gents' road back into this game. They're running out of time to make a final push. Currently down 10 with Marquez at the line and under 2 to play.
And really no better example of not only the depth, but the opportunities given to all sorts of players. Marquez, a part of that senior class, he had appeared in just 3 games in 2019 and 2020, and he's already appeared in 17 games this year and provided real contributions off the bench. 3 points today, but also 2 rebounds, an assist. So from top to bottom, this roster really shining this season.
Yeah, and he's one of the best on the Trinity team at setting good screens. He's called for a foul there. He can't believe it. And that'll send Taylor to the line. Taylor's up to 18 in the game, and he'll get a chance at maybe reaching the 20-point mark. The only player on either side who's done so is Enzo Seiki with 21 in 29 minutes on the floor. Taylor's good with the first, as Ralph Johnson's back in the game, the starting point guard who we didn't see really at all for that entire stretch. It was A.J. Hall who was running the offense. Hall stays out there as Taylor misses the second, and Trinity run it quickly. Harvey into the lane, flips it up towards the basket, but he's fouled. Kyle Mingo is the one whistled for it. Bump on the body that time.
Based off of how Hall came in and played, it's no surprise that Ralph Johnson stuck to the bench a little bit longer, but he was one of the best performers back in December, really stuffing the stat sheet. Had 8 points and 6 assists in their victory against Trinity. That 9-point victory really catapulting the Gents to what has been a pretty good season for them. A little back and forth. They would fall to 5-7 in conference play with a loss here. And Johnson goes right back to the bench. Had some foul trouble early on, and then Hall, when he came in, just provided a real boost. So he stuck through most of the way.
Perfect trip to the line for Harvey, and that pushes it out to 12. Hall able to blow past Tanner Brown, but his mid-range jumper's no good, and you get a feeling that that will do it. I know I said earlier, didn't see a way back into the game for Centenary. They found that way, but I think now the clock's just winding down a little bit too quickly. Minute 15 to play. Harvey swings it over to Brown. Head fake. Tries to toss it inside for Marquez, who finds it off the deflection and puts it up for 2 more. 5 points in the game for Marquez, all in the second half here. As Mingo throws that one away, it's 3 versus 1 for Trinity. Brown all the way to the cup. As Trinity adding on late, up to 89 in the game, past their season average. As a three-pointer is no good for Centenary. Trinity won't be able to dribble this one out. It ends up being a 16-point game. Their biggest lead was 17 here in the second half before an almost unprecedented Centenary comeback. There's Harvey with the exclamation point on the victory. Trinity hit 92. The bench is loving it. As you can see, David Nickel. Taylor to answer at the other end, no good. And Seiki grabs the rebound. It was a game of runs. Trinity held the lead for most of the game, despite the Centenary resistance in the second half. They're going to take it in the end by a comfortable margin of 19 points. They finish on a 9-0 streak to finish the game. We can exhale now. That game offered us so much in terms of quality shot making, exhilarating runs back and forth between the two teams. In the end, Trinity put up their biggest number in a while, 92 here at home with the students behind them. The energy paying all kinds of dividends for Coach Smith's team.
And that final field goal percentage, 57.1, is the highest of the season for the Tigers. They hit their last 7 shots from the floor, and you see them getting a welcome to the locker room. They'll go under the cheerleaders' tunnel. Students providing one last ovation to this team. Really a game that if you just check the box score, you might be a little bit confused. Certainly a 19-point victory at the end, but it doesn't reflect the back and forth that we had there for a while. 17-point lead from Trinity disappearing right before our eyes. Centenary clawing their way back. But then it ends up with a big victory for Trinity regardless, as they were able to deal with that adversity, ride their home crowd, and get this conference victory now 6 in a row for the Tigers. Really impressive stuff, and just shows the resilience that they have dealing with the obstacles thrown at them when it looked like Centenary might escape with a victory here in San Antonio. Tigers fighting back.
Seiki leads the way with 21 points on 6 of 9 shooting. A.J. Clark had 17 on 6 of 7 shooting. The two of those leading the way for Trinity and only missing 4 shots combined. I mean, they were so efficient from the floor. Harvey added 12 off the bench with some big three-pointers. He shot 3 of 5 from behind the arc. David Nickel goes down with just 2 points. But man, he put in so much work, as did all of the seniors. Marquez, Williams, Lippman. They definitely made their mark on this game, and they made their mark on another Trinity win. Moved to 17-3 overall, 9-2 in conference play, and they'll be back in action tomorrow against Austin College. We've got a quick turnaround here as Trinity women's basketball is now out, warming up on the floor for their own matchup against the Centenary ladies. Hope you'll switch over for that one. We'll have it right here on the Tiger Network. Trinity beat Centenary 92-73, and we'll be right back for the second game of our doubleheader.